Good morning, Brawick Court School. What are you going to do today? Learn, enjoy, succeed. It's assembly time. It's Thursday, the 30th of April. We're going to start off once again with our birthdays. Just one very important birthday person today. A big happy birthday to Ava. We hope you have a really, really wonderful day. We're all thinking about you. We're going to sing you happy birthday. I know you can only hear me, but I assure you that everybody else at home is singing to you as well, Ava. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ava. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Ava. Have an amazing day. Okay, I'm going to hand over once again to myself for part 2 of our growth mindset assemblies. Enjoy. Of our set of assemblies about how to be awesome at absolutely anything, and we started looking at this book, and hopefully you might have tuned in to the YouTube playlist and read along some of that with me, or maybe you've ordered the book or e-version of it and had a little look at it yourself. So this is called You Are Awesome, and we've been learning about growth mindset and the fact that if you have enough confidence and you dare to be brilliant, then you can succeed at absolutely anything that you would like to. So in the last assembly, we talked about Michael Jordan and the amount of times that he has failed before he has won at basketball. We talked about Will, and although loads of the goals go in, loads of the goals miss as well. We looked at the iceberg illusion, and this very tip of the iceberg here, that is success, is not just luck. It is not just that some people are born being able to do something and some people aren't. It's all these other things that have to happen. We talked about persistence, failure, sacrifice, disappointment, good habits, hard work and dedication, and that actually if any of you were to put in all of those things to anything that you want to do, success would eventually be the outcome. It might take longer on some things than others, but you would absolutely always get there. I hope you're a little bit convinced, because this is assembly number 2, but don't worry if you're not, because I've got a few more things that I would like to show you. So, what about this quote? Have a look at it. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. What do you think that means? Why have I chosen that quote, and why do I like that one? Let me read it again. There is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. What does that mean? Just what we were talking about with the iceberg analogy, isn't it? There is no easy way to getting to the top and being the best. It is all about hard work and effort that you put in. Okay, so and carry on talking about Will. We know that he's not magic, although he was able to show us some magic tricks because he got really good at them. Do you think, we've looked at some of the clips of his football and I've told you a little bit about it. Do you think that he is a talented footballer? Okay, so a talent is if you're really good at something. So I think we could probably argue that yes, he has got talent. But do you think that he was just born with the ability to be really good at football? Do you think he was just one of those lucky people? Well, hopefully what you've realised through the information that I gave you in the last assembly is that it isn't really down to luck. It's not genetics, although some of the people in his family, his dad and his uncle in particular, and his granddad would very much like to think that it is genetics, and there's probably some of that there, but a lot of it, and what Matthew Syed talks about in his book as well, is it's also to do with passion and dedication. So if everybody in your family is passionate and dedicated about something, you're likely to be passionate and dedicated towards it too. So no, he wasn't just born with the ability, he was born with passion and grew up with passion for football, and through all of those other things that we talked about, got good at it. And that would be the same with people who are really successful at whatever they do, whether that be sport or something else. So I think I'm reasonably good at teaching, but I've been teaching for 20 years and near enough every day of my life, so you would certainly hope that I would be good at it by now. Okay, so let me tell you something else about Will. Will is also really good at maths. This is probably the subject that he does most well in at school. But if we asked him, he would say that he hates maths. So that's interesting, isn't it? Because that doesn't include the passion that we were talking about before. This is something quite different. Let me tell you a little bit about Will and his maths. I and Will's dad, we have both told him that if he doesn't do well at school in his academic subjects, in his maths and his English and his science and his geography and his other academic subjects, he's not allowed to play football. If his grades drop in anything else, then we will stop him from going to football. So that has given him motivation. It might not be passion, but it's definitely motivation to do really, really, really well at school. And he is just about to finish year 10, and he's already getting the grades at GCSE that I got when I finished my GCSE a year later. So he's really, really good at it, but he doesn't like it. He got good at it because he knew how important it was, because I told him that if he didn't do well with his maths, he wasn't allowed to play football, and football is his passion. So that is where his passion came from. So I've asked Will to do a little demo for you. I'll move the laptop so that you can see his piece of paper. I've given him a hard maths problem to answer.
Okay, so I'd like you to use your times tables, please, to work out the cubed root of 343 and talk us through it.
So, how should we do this? So, let's work out. So, don't think it'll be 5 because 5 times 5 is 125. So, it's 25.
Yeah.
25 times 5 is 125.
Okay.
6 times 6 is 36. And then 36 times 6. So I don't know how to do this in my head. So I use my multiplication there. So 6 times 6, 36. 3 times 6 is 18. Plus the 3 is 21. 216. So getting there, getting closer.
Yeah.
So it's not 6. 7 times 7 is 49.
Yeah.
49 times 7. So I don't know how to do that again. So come over here. 49, 7. 9 times 7 is 63. 4 times 7 is 28. Add the 6, 34. 343, which is what you've got there.
Turn it around and look. Excellent.
So nobody is going to ask you in primary school to work out the cubed root of 343. Don't panic about that. That is very much a secondary school thing. But what I wanted to demonstrate to you was that Will is now at the level with his maths where he is able to work out really hard sums. What did he use to help him work it out? He used his times tables. And guess what? What do we teach you at primary school is really important. Exactly right. You have to learn your times tables. Now, you are all at very different levels of that. Some of the reason you're at different levels is because some of you are 4 and some of you are 10. So some of it's to do with your age, some of it's to do with how long you've been at school, but a lot of it is to do with how long you've spent practicing. And actually, Birch class are a really great example of that because they have worked particularly hard this year on their times tables. And I told them earlier in the year that I believed that every single one of them could learn every single times table up to 12 times 12 and be able to answer the questions like that. And guess what? Every single child is able to do it because Birch class practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. Have you seen them in the office at lunchtime doing times table rock stars on the iPads? That's what they're doing. They're practicing their times tables. They battle each other at home on times table rock stars. They've come up with games with times tables to be able to play them. They chant them in class. They have tests every week. And it's worked. So if you don't know your times tables, I absolutely promise you that you would be able to learn them. It's not down to luck that some people can just do it and some people can't. It's to do with the amount of work that you put in. And have a look at this quote because this will back it up for me very nicely. All things are difficult before they are easy. So whatever it is that you are finding hard, and that could be a skill that you want to get really good at, like maybe you've discovered a certain trick or something that you'd like to be able to do, or maybe it's an element of your schoolwork that you find quite hard, I can absolutely promise you that if you keep trying hard and keep practicing and practicing and practicing and looking for more and more information to help you, eventually it will become easy. So Will practiced his times tables over and over and over and over again until he was quick like this. Some of our children are quick like this now as well, and that wasn't the case when I recorded this video last year, but I haven't got any of you here to demonstrate, so we'll use Will's example instead. Here we go.
Okay, I'm going to ask you some times tables questions. You ready? 9 nines.
8 9.
3 fours.
12.
12 12.
144.
1 times 1.
1.
36 divided by 6.
6.
42 divided by 7.
6.
3 threes.
9.
9 nines.
81.
8 times itself.
64.
7 times 3.
21.
So, speedy times tables, this is what Brawick are getting good at as well, but this could be anything. If you practiced it long enough and hard enough, you would be able to be fantastic at whatever it was that you wanted to be able to do. If you wanted to make those trick shots, if you wanted to be an amazing artist and do murals like Rory's, if you wanted to be the fastest runner, if you wanted to be able to get your socks in the basket accurately every time, whatever it is that you wanted to do, practice makes perfect. And never forget this iceberg of success. This bit up here where you get the best score in your spelling test or win the race or whatever it is that you want to do is only possible if you've put in all of these things first. So here's another quote from the book. This is fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So remember, we talked about this in the last assembly. Fixed mindset is thinking the same about things all of the time. Growth mindset is being ready to take on new challenges and ideas. This is believing that you can't do it, like that quote from Henry Ford. This is believing that you can do it. If you think you can or you think you can't, you are probably right. So here are some examples. You probably can't read them from there. That's fine. I'm going to read them to you. Fixed mindset. I'm no good at that. Growth mindset. I'm no good at that yet, but I can get better if I try. So if you've ever caught yourself saying anything like that, I'm not good at that, what about thinking, I'm not good yet, but I could get better if I try? I'm so stupid. Now, we never use that word at school, do we? Because we don't like to think of anybody as being stupid. And the reason is because nobody is stupid at all. It's this that we need to think about. I just haven't done enough practice yet. Practice makes perfect. She's a genius. So this is the opposite. This is about people just being super brains and really, really, really clever. Well, actually, no. What about thinking, I wonder what practice she's doing? Maybe I could try to follow her example. So thinking that if somebody is brilliant at something and better than you, instead of just feeling defeated that they're better than you, maybe you could think about learning something from them about how to get better yourself. I've got no coordination for sports. I need to find someone to practice with me and show me the skills. I give up. That's definitely fixed mindset. What can I do differently? This is your growth mindset, thinking about things in a more positive, constructive way. It's too hard. We hear that one sometimes. This might take me a while and I might need to ask somebody for help. So not saying that it's too hard, just saying that you can do it if you persevere. I've messed this up, and we all feel like this sometimes, don't we? Because not everything goes according to plan, unfortunately. But you could think, it doesn't matter if I've made a mistake. What can I learn from this? And we do a lot of work on this at school, particularly in maths, where we would have a growth mindset, thinking about how we can learn from our mistakes and make things better. And that actually, if all of the work is really easy first time around, actually our brains aren't stretching and growing and teaching us anything. We learn far more from working through a problem, and we do lots of that with you. Okay, I asked Will to do one more video for me to show you. Okay, I would like to show it to you now.
Okay, one last thing. I'd like you to draw a picture of yourself, please. Yeah.
Reality.
Okay.
I'm playing football, obviously.
Is that your best drawing, Will?
Obviously. Can't really do much else. That's the football.
Yeah.
I play football. And then, alright. Hello.
Okay, turn it around so we can have it. Have you finished? Don't want to stop you too early. Okay, show us. Thank you.
Right, it will come as no surprise to you that Will is not taking art for GCSE. So let me show you this question here that this helpful cat is posing for you. This is Misty. She likes to get involved in the action at home as well. What can you say about Will's drawing ability? Now, at the start of these assemblies, we might have said something about how rubbish he was at art, but perhaps we're not going to say that now. Let me ask you some more questions. Do you think that Will loves art? Do you think that he is really interested and passionate in drawing? No, he's absolutely not. Never liked it, didn't even pick up a pencil until about 2 terms after he'd started school. Couldn't write his name, couldn't draw a picture of a person with arms and legs in the right place until he was about 6. And then he's 14 now. Unfortunately for Will, it's not getting an awful lot better. But that is because, firstly, he's not interested, and secondly, he's never practiced. Probably he could do an amazing mural like Rory's done for us at school as well, if he spent hours and hours and hours and hours practicing and followed all of those tutorials and did lots of sketching and tried loads and loads and loads of times before he got it right. So it's not just about what you're really skilled at, it's about what's given you that skill in the first place, isn't it? So, no, Will isn't very good at drawing, but at the moment he is not good at drawing yet because he hasn't done the practice, and that's the difference, isn't it? Okay, so let's come back to this quote that I asked you at the beginning, whether you agreed or disagreed with this. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. So maybe you believed in this in the first place, particularly if you remembered the assembly from before, or if you've read the book, or if you've been at Braywick for long enough that all these ideas are already in your mind. But some of you maybe might not have thought it was that important. So I wonder whether there are any of you that might have changed your mind. I'd be interested to know if there were. Okay, so at the beginning of the last assembly, I asked you what you were really good at. And I wonder whether you might have changed your mind about why it is that you were good at that thing. Maybe your original answer, although I did talk you through it at the time, your original answer of why you're good at it might just be, well, I'm just lucky. It's just my favourite thing. That's just what I'm really good at. And you might just have thought that that was just the way it is. But hopefully what we've been able to realise now is that the chances are that you're really good at it because you've got passion and dedication, that you've done or getting close to your 1,000 hours. So I then asked you this question: what are you terrible at? Now everybody's going to have something that they are not so good at, but we know now that that is not a good growth mindset way of thinking about things. So let's rephrase that question, and we might ask, what aren't you good at yet? And maybe what we've done, because what we've certainly tried to do through these assemblies, is inspire you a little bit. That if there is something that you're not good at just yet, if you did the right things to put in all of that practice, you would get better and better and better at it. So what could you do to improve? There might be something that you wish that you could do that you can't do yet. It might be riding your bike without stabilisers. It might be being able to eat spaghetti by twisting it round your fork. It might be learning another language. It might be learning your times tables or getting all of your spellings right or moving up to the next reading level. Whatever your thing is, what you need to think about is what you need to do to improve. But what we definitely know, isn't it, is that if you just sit there waiting to get better and don't do anything about it, that is not going to be very helpful. The only person who can make the change is you. And hopefully that's what you've learnt today. And I wonder if there's anything that you might change based on this. I wonder if there's anything that you might go off and with some determination and passion get really good at. I've got one more quote to leave you with. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. I really like this one. Will likes this one as well. He talks about this a lot, that actually it's not just about the destination, it's about the journey. So maybe you want to be top of the class or something, or you want to score the winning penalty, or you want your team to win or whatever. But actually the part of the passion and the enjoyment comes from that toil and labour of getting better and better and better at something. And then that enormous feeling of success when you achieve what you wanted to set out to do. So I hope that that's given you some inspiration. I hope that you think about something that you'd like to get better at, and good luck with it, whatever it is. I'd love to hear about it. And if you've enjoyed the book, please go over to the playlist for story time and have a look, and you can hear some more inspiration about how you too could be awesome at absolutely anything. See you next time.